Hi, this is Jacci Pillar and this is Talk-ist, and I'm here today with the awesome Vanessa de Kauwe from ANU, Australian National University Science Alliance, and we are going to do something we call Newsworthless, where we can fluff into stuff. And this article's a bit more like stuff into, we're going to stuff it, I think. It's called I'm a helicopter parent and I don't see how I could be anything but right now. And it's a parent that is expressing concerns over their young people in their life, their children. And I'll read a quote from here that made me want to scream as an adult autistic person. If I don't hover, they fail. Repeatedly sometimes, and in a way that costs us all financially and emotionally when my fuel tank, energy and emotional reserves are already operating at close to empty often. But my argument would be that in science we need to fail. Is that accurate, you would say, Vanessa?
Oh, very accurate, Jackie. And I think what she's got here is the wrong idea. She thinks that if she doesn't hover, they will fail repeatedly and it's all very tragic, etc. I think she's finding that it's because they're human beings that they fail. Not that they're neurodiverse, not that she's not an excellent helicopter or whatever. All the humans fail all the time. When the scientists fail, we learn from it and then we do excellent things. I think that's what's happened there. She made a little mistake. She forgot that the children were human.
Absolutely. And I think it should be in the United Nations Convention of Human Rights, the right to fail and learn from it and create from failure. I mean, in the arts sector, if we don't have a show that bombs, we never learn. So it's all exactly the same. I had a parent that hovered and I had a parent that, let's use the expression, threw me in the deep end. And I honestly much preferred being my father's way of doing things. But interestingly, he came from an engineering and science background, and I ended up in my first career of engineering and science as an avionics technician on aircraft in the military. So I think it's really interesting that this is seems to be this binary. People think we're either or.
Definitely. For our Science Alliance people, usually when we walk into things, people will either or. They will either think, oh, the neurodiverse and the disabled people, they're doing science. Bless, this will be cute. There'll be rainbows and bubbles. And, unless they're dry ice, carbon dioxide bubbles sublimating, we're not doing bubbles. We'll do excellent science. But then when we do the excellent science, we get the or from the either or. We get the, they must be Rain Man syndrome. They must be really, really good at science and completely Tom Cruise at everything else.
We're either seen as incompetent or seen as savants. I mean, I've even had a friend of mine that's incredibly musical recently be called a savant. And she was like, whoa, where'd that come from? I've just been practicing really hard. And she's really methodical in how she practices. And I tend to be very analytical and methodical. And that's, I'd like to just argue that's because I think scientifically and I think visually. But again, the romanticizing us or demonizing us that happens in the world, we don't get seen as capable.
Either way, whether we're doing something cute and fluffy or whether we're somehow genius savants, both of them avoid the fact that we actually just worked really hard. Look, and I think helicopters are necessary, but not necessarily inside a school building and certainly not in the science lab. That's dangerous, isn't it? It's danger. Health hazard.
And you know what? I think this whole idea of binaries, no binary that I know of exists, unless, of course, it's a binary ones and zeros, which I failed when I did that the first time, and then I had to then relearn it. Maybe it's because I'm non-binary. I'm not sure.
See what you did there? Like it? See what you did there?
The whole idea of a helicopter, it can take your head off if you don't operate it the right way. Like, all of this is potentially a safety issue. And I remember that, in community service, we talk about duty of care and, parents probably need to take a leaf out of that, but we have a duty of care to protect and keep people safe. But another idea is this idea of dignity of risk, that taking risk is really important to our development, the same as any other human on the planet.
Let's look at what a helicopter is, right? Or especially here in Australia, when you think helicopter, you think of someone bringing you the news. That's good. If you've got anything to say to me, parent, you better tell me, but it better just be the news. Don't just be checking up on me. Are you happy? Well, I would be if you went away. But also, helicopters here in Australia, they don't just bring us the news, they rescue us, right? The Westpac helicopter come and pull you out of the sea, but you have to be in the sea. If the helicopter's pulling you out of a yacht that's about to win the Sydney to Hobart, well, that's a bad helicopter. That's not a good helicopter.
This article uses language like special needs, and it just always makes me want to sort of vomit, because everybody has needs that are special from time to time.
What gets to me is I'm wondering what that author's kids are missing out on. Like, in Science Alliance, I've got to say, I don't know if it was, well, I can't say it was luck. I've got to say it's hard work. It's the hard work of the students. But all our students have excellent parents. Now, what I'm saying is all the current parents are excellent. I did have students at Science Alliance who are left, and it's because quite a few of them, their parents pulled them out, and I was surprised that there's exactly 3, right? The parents pulled them out not because they were worried the kids would fail, but they were a bit upset that the kids had succeeded so much. They thought that the kid was not capable of doing this success, so that the success would maybe explode their brain hole somehow or something like that. The kids got too clever, and it couldn't possibly be the case. And so for the kids' own physical health, it sounds extraordinary, but when it happens 3 times, it's more than a coincidence. There are helicopters that are rescuing you from the finish line or winning the prize somehow.
And I think sometimes we need to just shift that whole view that people and young people with disabilities, that they're, like, it's interesting when you talk about disability pride. So we want the disability pride helicopter, but we don't want the helicopter that says we all have to, at a baseline, be rescued. So we want the stripy rainbow disability pride helicopter to swoop in. Yeah. And let us get to the finish line. That's really important.
That helicopter that you're talking about, that's a proper helicopter. Think of a real helicopter. Helicopters are awesome, right? And that disability pride helicopter, I don't think it's airlifting you out. I think that helicopter, it's doing a heli drop. It's coming and bringing you the stuff you need. It's just dropping the stuff, moving on.
So we're going to redefine the helicopter to parent as the disability pride helicopter.
Yeah, the airdrop. That's all I want.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much, Vanessa from Science Alliance at Australian National University, for being on Newsworthless.